Understood. So how do you size up uranium versus gold, silver, and other commodities in the near, I'm not talking decade, let's talk the next few years.
Jake, it depends on for who. The uranium juniors are a superbly speculative endeavor. And people who speculate need to work hard. They need to manage their emotions. They need to manage their time preference. If somebody comes to me with all that intact and somebody is willing to suffer a year or a year and a half of pain, and they're willing to construct a 5 or 6 stock portfolio, not put all their money on one horse that has a good name or something like that, I think I can say to them that if they are prepared to stomach lots of cyclicality and lots of turmoil, that they should get 3, 4, 500% gains over 5 years. Most people talk a big talk. They say, oh yeah, that's good. I'm in. I'm tough. And then the index falls by 10%. And all of a sudden, like Mike Tyson said, everybody has a fight plan until he punches them in the mouth.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel Market Uncharted. Today another update video on the uranium sector, especially because we have seen the going live of the Sprott Uranium Physical Trust, and this is important because the listing went to Canada. The New York Stock Exchange listing for SPUT, which is the ticker, is more about Q1, Q2 event of the year 2022. In the meantime, they will be aggressively marketing this product to their 250,000 clients in the US, which can be actually really good. But don't worry, between now and then, of course, they're at the money market will be live around 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more, and I strongly believe they will be aggressively in their pursuits to the physical uranium. Before we continue about the physical trust, just to mention that last month we had the uranium mining stocks that had a lot of volatility. They went down really hard, really fast, maybe more down than we were all expecting, but then just a sharp and fast recovery as well, probably on the same levels as 1 month ago. So you gotta love this volatility. So let's just hear in this case, our big mentor Rick Rule talking about the Sprott Uranium Physical Trust.
And talking my book, Charlotte, I need to say that my former employer, Sprott, where I'm still, I believe, the largest shareholder, has taken over the management contract of the Uranium Participation Corp. We have changed it from a corporation to a trust to make it more tax efficient for U.S. taxpayers, and Sprott hopes to list it on the New York Stock Exchange. If they are able to do that, I think that they will be able to introduce that product to the 250,000 investors who own Sprott's physical products, the gold product and the silver product. And I suspect that they will see fairly massive inflows into the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, which will lead to them buying fairly massive amounts of uranium. And my suspicion is that Sprott will almost by itself be able to tighten up the physical market. I believe that the catalyst is in place over the next 6 months to mop up any surplus uranium in the spot market, which will drive consumers of uranium into the term market. And the strength in the term market will be what allows the fortunes of the larger producers to increase. Charlotte?
Well, really exciting news also coming from this physical uranium trust that most likely will move the spot and the term market price and will of course impact all of our junior miners. Also important to mention is that Rick Rule mentioned in another interview that Japan is the key factor missing, or that is the only factor missing to a big upside on the uranium price. As we know, since Fukushima, and this is just a quote coming from John Quakes on Twitter, shout out to him, of course. Again, since then, we had several shutdowns of nuclear reactors, but now slowly and increasingly, people in Japan are starting to understand the big upside on uranium as a green energy, open up or reopen old nuclear reactors, and I think there is the key factor that will help us push the uranium price forward. But don't forget, meanwhile, that during this year we already had a huge increase of uranium spot demand, and these buys are coming from the junior companies, and also hedge funds, so really important as well for us.
The same thing that we were waiting for 2 years ago when you and I talked, which is the restarts of the Japanese reactor fleet. Everything else is in place. You'll recall at that point in time I said it might take 1.5 years. Well, I was wrong. It's taken 2 years. The outlook for uranium is, I think, particularly attractive today in really 3 regards. First of all, the worldwide consumption of uranium exceeds the worldwide consumption of uranium before the Japanese shutdown. In other words, we use more uranium now than we did then. The second is that the increasing hue and cry about carbon, the need for increased electrification that doesn't generate carbon, has given the Japanese government the political cover it needs to begin to restart reactors in Japan, as well as casting uranium in a new light among younger voters and investors, your generation, worldwide. It's suddenly, in certain circles, a green fuel, which I never thought would happen.
So I guess time and patience is at the essence, is really important for us. But let's move on past all of this good news. I need to show you more and more. We have a lot of information key to the uranium sector, also the uranium miners. So we start with Morgan Stanley, that again started a piece about uranium. And of course, they show that it's difficult to pinpoint the long-awaited price inflection point, which we all are waiting as well, but they remain bullish on uranium. So bullish that they compare uranium to other minings and metals, and they just do a thermometer where you can see here that the uranium is actually a lot bullish. They have the top rating, and we, or in this case, they expect the prices to go a lot higher. Also, TD Securities, the same. So you start to see a lot of coverage in this sector. So they try again to double check and see this uranium physical trust implementation that would have a huge impact on the market. They also show that, or they do a model again to show something that we already talked about in market and charted videos way before, which is the supply demand model shows that in the next few years, uranium will be in deficit. Also, Credit Suisse, a big Swiss bank, also showing coverage to Kazatomprom, which is the Uzbekistan miner, that is Kazakhstan miner, apologies, that is quoted also in the UK stock exchange, showing a price target to 35 with the outperform quote. Important also that Boss Energy, Australian miner, released their quarterly results with a good result on the enhanced feasibility study, which can come and show that Honeymoon is actually one of the best places in the world to mine uranium. Highlights also coming from Denison Mines. Denison, one of the sweethearts in the uranium sector. Cantor Fitzgerald once again with a buy rate and with a lot of cover in Denison Mines. Please stop the video to take a closer look why they are so bullish on Denison. Haywood as well on Denison Mines again, really highlight a top pick in the uranium space, really important stock. Also coincidentally one of my biggest positions. Another important news coming from Australia, the Bannerman resources just show that the Etango uranium project really will have good results, but a pre-feasibility study will come out early August. So I'm really excited about this. Bannerman, again, one of my top picks for the uranium sector. And don't forget, this is something important. Uranium is on the commodity index, and this commodity index are outperforming the S&P 500. So I believe in the next few months we will still see the same type of behavior. Coming to the news, and this is also important, especially because Elon Musk being one of the most wealthy people in the world, it's important, you know, another important news that he thinks that uranium is a good endorsement. Nuclear energy is really green and it's important for the future. So endorsement coming from Elon Musk cannot hurt. After Warren Buffett and Bill Gates building their nuclear reactor on their own, so you can see the most wealthy people in the world are turning their head to uranium. Also important, this more on the political side, Putin has just approved a Rosatom request for Russian nuclear development budget to be increased. And you can see that worldwide big countries are turning their heads to uranium. So guys, to finalize, never forget where you are today. The spot is still at 32, it's still early. We have a lot to grow. Of course, this will take time. We are talking about this decade. So be patient, be calm, contain your emotions when we are losing 30-40%. As you've seen by Rick, this is really common, and we have to trust the people that did this move years before us. So stay strong out there in the uranium community, and we will prevail in the end. So thank you so much guys for watching the video. Never forget, knowledge is not power, knowledge is potential power, execution is everything. And just like the markets, we will not rest.
People should, when it's quiet, that's when the price goes down. That's when they should flock towards you, because those are the best times to enter. When it starts getting quiet, that means the price is not overbid, you know. And if you're in a bull market, then you have, like, hopefully people are going to start following uranium once again, and not wait until it does new all-time highs, you know, when like it's stretched away from moving averages. But I think, yeah, we're going to see in the charts today there that the corner, it looks to have turned, and let's see where those upwards targets are.
Sure. Yeah, I think you made some good points there. It's the sentiment is always such a strong indicator, especially in these resource markets, and it's just, you know, some things never change. When things are euphoric is really the time that you should be getting a little bit fearful, and when things are just despondent is when you should be getting greedy. And I don't know that we're quite at a despondent level. The sell-off that's been happening in the equities, I'm sure we'll go over that, in the last, let's say, 6 to 8 weeks has been, in my opinion, a perfectly healthy pullback, but it did go a bit deeper and a bit faster than any of us really expected. The volumes are pretty low, but we'll go over that. But yes, you're right. It's really, I tweeted out yesterday, the day before, that, you know, as an investor, one of the wisest things you can do is act the opposite of your emotional reaction to what's happening in the markets.